Hello, everyone. I'm going to lean back because my neck's in a lot of pain. And I got stitches in my hand. I wanted to thank all of you for sending me healing light. I'm going to Montana September 24th, and hopefully I'll be all well by then, all healed, and they'll get these stitches out. So I haven't checked in with you guys in a while. It's probably my birthday by the time you're watching this. It's 9:30 p.m. in LA, which means that it's September 16th in New York right now. And September 16th is my birthday. So thank you all for being here on my birthday. This is pre-recorded. But I was on the phone with my friend Panache today. Panache Desai. I don't know if you guys know him. Wonderful man. And I was telling him about the downloads I got from my guides this week that were really, really exciting. And I thought I'd jump on and share them because it pertains to all of you, all of the starseeds, and all the way showers, and all the galactic shamans, and all the light raisers. So, the part of my life I don't really share with you guys is that I'm an avid meditator. So, to me, that's my number one priority in life, is to continue to link into higher consciousness and to cultivate my abilities and to accentuate my telekinetic abilities, to be very specific. And for those of you who don't know, psychokinesis, telekinesis, is the ability to move objects or energy with your mind. Because we're in a third dimensionally based reality, we're moving into a fourth dimensionally based reality or fourth density. We may not be able to move objects with our mind just yet, but this is what we're moving towards. And every day for years now, I spend about 90 minutes a day, so 1 hour at a coffee shop, and I like to listen to channeling, and as I'm doing that, I'm imagining that I'm levitating or lifting all the straws or my coffee cup or cars off the ground. And when I tell you that it feels more real than this video right now, I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Like, when I work with this energy, I induce myself into a plasmic state. You could think of it as like a trance state, and everything feels like jello, and my pineal gland gets supercharged, and it starts to throb, and then I'm able to move energetic fields, to bend the fabric of reality that we're not able to see, that isn't perceivable to the naked eye, but it does feel more real than anything. And so this week, whenever I'm in a very surrendered mode, I like to open up a dialogue with my guides because I'm not in a position to be doing that work as much. And so I was speaking to my guides this week, and you're going to love this. I was speaking to my guides, and I said to them, why is it that this feels realer to me than my reality? Because the truth is, I'd be a little cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if I was spending about 14 hours a week working on these abilities without having evidence. So again, usually I take an hour, I sit at a coffee shop, I work with my mind, I'm levitating all these things through my imagination, but you can feel it viscerally. And then I go on a 30-minute walk later and I continue to do it, and this time in silence. And I ask my guides, like, why is it that I feel like this is my favorite part of the day? What's really happening? And because I'm also a realistic guy, I'm a Virgo, so I'm a huge skeptic, you guys. And so for me, even though I'm in communication with other beings, I'm always like skeptic. But is this real, And that's how I'm able to be very discerning with my information. But I asked them, and they said that, Phil, so going back to being realistic, I'm very realistic in that I recognize that in this lifetime, I may never be able to prove that we can move objects with our mind. And so I asked them, why is it that I feel like applying myself every day and being so dedicated and devoted to this path of psychokinesis? And this is what they said. They said, Phil, you're linking to an aspect of yourself that is one of the first men or women, one of the first men to ever move objects with precision with your mind. So you're actually linking to that aspect of yourself that is already known for doing that. And it might be another version of Earth. They said, be open to it being in this life. So I was like, of course, I'll be open to that. But you're linking to another dimensional self or a parallel self of you that is known for moving objects with his mind. And right now, you're in your origin story. So then they said, you know how like Wolverine has an origin story, or Dr. Xavier has an origin story. You're in your origin story right now. And you're energizing that aspect of yourself, but really that aspect of yourself already exists and can already do these things. That's why it feels like so second nature to you. That other aspect can already do these things, but right now you're kind of training this mind of yours in this reality to be able to do it. And they said that they showed me a very clear vision of me being like this scientist in another life, but someone who can telekinetically move objects and cars and all these things with my mind. And I said, that's really cool. And I said, well, can you elaborate on this? They said, yes. In this life, most of you starseeds and Wayshores, you don't have full recall of your previous incarnations, right? A lot of us have like sneak previews of what happened in another life, or maybe we catch glimpses of what happened in our other lifetimes, but we don't have that full recollection of those Akashic memories. And they related this to all of you watching this. We all have distinctive abilities, right? Like for me, I can't explain it, but I've always been inclined to work with my pineal gland. You know how some people say, I'm always working on my heart, I'm always dropped into my heart, I'm letting go and I'm letting God, or I'm in that divine feminine. For me, it's very much of an electrical energy of like working with the pineal gland. Okay, that's what I specialize in. And you might have a different ability. And so maybe you're like very imaginative, or maybe you're very inventive in some way, or innovative in some way, and that's going to manifest later on in your life or in that other life where that ability that you have, like for instance, let's say that you like to paint. Maybe in another life you'll be able to paint just with your mind. You see what I mean? You'll be able to conjure something out of thin air. And right now you're kind of training yourself to do that. You're envisioning the painting, and then you put it on the canvas. And so my guide said that my specialization is moving stuff with my brain. And it's not in an egoic way, right? It's more like to demonstrate, to showcase the power of our minds. Like, could you imagine if you had someone in this life right now who could do that, who could successfully move objects with their mind? It would be a mind-blowing discovery. Like, oh my God, this is possible. And I know there are YouTube videos where people like move spoons, but I think a lot of it is like hoaxy. And it may not be. I don't know. Or maybe there are masters living in a cave in Tibet somewhere, and they're doing it, and they don't necessarily want to show that they can do that. So my guides didn't say I will be the first, but they did say that I would be known for this. And they said people would ask you how you developed that ability. And right now you're in your origin story. So we can't really remember our previous lives. Like, we get tids and bits here and there. But they said that a lot of the starseeds who are incarnate at this time were at the precipice. Think of this as like the inception point. And from now on, we are going to start to reincarnate on other versions of Earth or other star systems where we will remember exactly what we did in this life. We will remember each other through this YouTube channel. We will remember everything that took place. And by the way, I'm pre-recording this, so if you've already donated, thank you so much. I'm sending you all my love. Thank you. So I thought this message was really cool, that this is the origin story. And the reason why it feels so real to me is because it is real. But I need to garner the experiences that I'll then be able to relay to people as to how I was then able to move into that chapter. How did I learn how to move objects? And so I'm needing this piece or this chapter in my life, okay, whether it be that I'm going to be able to do this in this life or another life. I have no attachment to that, by the way. I always say that for me, I never want to go rogue. For instance, if you said to me, Phil, write a book now, I would say if I did that, I'd be going rogue because I'm not feeling called to that. So never do something that you're not called to, because sometimes we're so narrow-minded that we think we have to pack everything into this lifetime, when in actuality, you can actually throw all of your other parallel selves off by going rogue. Does that make sense? So you have to think of yourself as like one aspect that is part and intricately linked to other aspects of who you are, and you guys form a network. It's like a crystalline network, and you swap information, okay? And so when you're relaxing and watching Netflix, that's probably what those other parallel selves want you to do because they're on a mission. Or when you're sleeping at night, you probably have other aspects going on missions. And so for me, it was crystal clear years ago that I am not to go against what my spirit tells me, right? And sometimes in life, people say, you're just afraid to write the book, so you need to really break through that barrier and be willing to conquer that fear. I'm not of that belief, right? I'm of the belief that you are divine, and if something doesn't really sit well with you, or you don't feel comfortable when it comes to doing something, then honor that. Because there's something that you're not able to see that you're actually contributing your frequency to. And that other aspect that you're contributing your frequency to needs you to stay put. It needs you to keep harmonizing with what feels right for you and correct for you in this life. So I'm not saying that I would never write a book. What I'm saying that is that as long as I don't feel the inspiration to write the book, I'm not going to do it. Because what matters more to me is honoring the bigger picture of reality, which isn't limited to this lifetime. We are here for a much grander mission. And when you start to connect into those other aspects within your invisible network, within the etheric network, then you'll start to comprehend that your mission here extends beyond what you're perceiving. Okay, it goes beyond the scope of what you're currently doing. And when I tell you that their message was super, super vivid, I mean that with every fiber of my being. They said to me, Phil, right now, the reason why you focus more on your meditation than doing sessions, because, I mean, think about it. If I was third dimensionally driven, I'd be in session all day, making money all day, and I choose not to do that. Because what takes precedence over all things is my personal sacred practice of working with these energy fields, of changing the fabric of this non-physical reality, of levitating objects with my mind, of understanding the ins and outs and the nuances of how this non-physical antimatter realm is configured. Like, that's what I really love to do, is the stuff that I do when no one's looking. That's what really, really excites me. And it's how I'm wired. I'm sure some of you can explain, you can kind of relate to this. Like, you don't understand why you sing, you just have to do it. It's a calling. Like, for me, my calling is to apply myself every day and dedicate my life to this higher understanding. Even though it may not manifest in this life, I don't have an attachment to that, which lets me know that I'm feeding into something that I can't yet see. But when it does materialize in another life, I'll be like, oh, this is no coincidence. It was an alchemical process that took a really long time. But because I was willing to believe in the unseen, and I stuck to my guns, and I kept showing up every single day in a consistent manner, it eventually got spit out into my reality. It eventually became true. So I thought that was an amazing and neat download, that right now we are in our origin story. And a lot of the Starseeds who are tuning into this, you may sometimes, grapple with trying to understand, like, why aren't things manifesting? But the truth is, you're at the precipice of your entire story right now. So think of it like this. In your next life, if, let's say, you jump into another version of Earth, you will have your memory fully intact, my friends. Fully intact. You won't go, what happened to me in a past life? Let me get a regression. You will have full recall of this life. So think of how exciting it is that you can show up every day, roll out of bed, and put your nose to the grindstone and better yourself every day and keep refining your skills. Keep accentuating your abilities. Keep opening up those telepathic faculties or whatever it is that lights your fire, right? Whatever it is that tickles your fancy. And you can't really explain why you gravitate to certain things. You might gravitate to art, and you're like, but I know there's more, right? You can feel it when you're doing it. Like there's more. There's like this life force in you, like that's like lava that's wanting to erupt, but you don't have proof yet of what's to come. So all you can do is continue to show up every day and work in concert with these invisible forces of the universe that are propelling you forward on your path, that will soon, if not in this lifetime, but soon, because remember, from our vantage point, this is a long life, but from the quantum realm, it's not a long life. This is like a blip on your radar, okay? So you will soon discover and uncover what all of this was lending itself to. So right now, we're in our origin story. And this is massive. It just goes to show that we've come such a long way because all of these incarnations we've been stuck kind of like in the 3D where we had to like really try to retrieve that gilded knowledge. We had to retrieve those Akashic memories. And now we won't have to do that anymore. We won't have to do that anymore. All of these memories are going to stay with us. And we'll be able to explain thoroughly, like, okay, well, I used to go to the shop, and then I would do this with my pineal gland, and then I would supercharge it, and this is how I used to supercharge it, and I'll be able to walk you through the exercises. I can do it now, but we're not there yet. We're not. Like, first we have to really grasp the concept of recalling our power. Recalling our power. And as long as we keep getting reactionary in life, it means that we're still denying our own light rather than accepting our own light. So we're turning away from ourselves, we're disowning ourselves. And so one of the messages I got from the guides today is like, anytime someone triggers you, you guys, just imagine that they're handing you your power on a platter. Your power that you gave away in another life. Or your power that was taken from you. When someone tries to trigger you, even though they appear to be your arch nemesis in that moment, just imagine that they're handing you your power back. And rather than getting reactive and getting really upset or getting really annoyed, just say, I'm ready to receive that soul fragment. I'm ready to retrieve that piece of who I am. And as you do that, you're going to bring your power back in. You're going to bring those fragments back home to you, which is going to enable you to fully embody your divinity. And the more that you can embody your divinity, the more access you will have to other dimensions. Because the more light you can hold in your vibratory field, the more you're able to have dimensional access. So you have your own personalized heads-up display, and you're like, okay, tune me into Arcturus, okay, tune me into Andromeda, tune me into Sirius, tune me into the realm of magic, and you can really learn how to shift dimensional gears. And I was saying that to Lori today, Lori Ladd, or I think it was yesterday. The words shifting dimensional gears came to mind. You are powerful beyond belief, my friends. You are a shapeshifter. You really are. You really are. I was telling Lori, I think it was yesterday, that I was on the street the other day and my guide said to me, Phil, don't imagine that you're becoming Phil Good. who's going to be someone who assists the collective. Sorry. Embody that frequency now. Like, imagine that you are feel good now, that you've already achieved everything you've wanted to achieve in this life. So rather than working towards that, be that now. When I was walking on the street, you guys, and I shifted dimensional gears, and immediately the entire street looked different. Okay. People were looking at me differently as well. It was amazing. And then when I shared that with Lori, she's like, Phil, that reminds me of a story that Marilyn Monroe was out with a friend. When she was alive, she was out with a friend. They were walking on the street. No one was noticing her. And then she said to her friend, hey, watch this. And within minutes, everyone was stopping her on the street. So she knew, she was privy to the fact that we can actually shapeshift ourselves. Right? On some level, she knew this. And so we are the shapeshifters, you guys. We are the wizards. We are the Merlin. And so all of this is part of us being in the origin story. We can learn how to work with this energy now in an effort to become it later on, later down the road. So my message for you today is simple. Don't wait for physical proof, right? I don't wait for physical proof. As a matter of fact, I see it as like, oh my God, I have intel, okay, about my future lives now, or this life, but I have intel now, so I'm actually ahead of the pack. Because if I wake up every day and I diligently work on myself every day, then I'm working towards that goal of moving objects with my mind, even though I'm already doing it. That's the thing, I'm already doing it. It's just that the collective may not be oscillating at that frequency yet. And there's a collective agreement, right? We're all here collectively. So the collective has to be on board with UFOs showing up, right? The collective has to be on board with us pulling things out of the ether and going, here's a rabbit. The collective has to be on board. Not the entire collective, but the light quotient has to be high enough to where these things that we are doing in these hyperspace realities or in these alternative realities can be done now. All right? So don't waste any time, because I see so many people who are like, Phil, I'm unmotivated. Phil, I don't know when this is going to happen. You have to act like it's already happened. You have to act like you are living it now. And don't waste time. Every day is a gift, my friends. Every day is a gift. All right? So if you're impassioned by something, like painting, just do it. It doesn't need to be perfect. I probably made a bunch of mistakes on this video right now. Like, I heard myself stumbling on a few words. That's okay. It's imperfect. But the idea is that you keep showing up. And I absolutely loved the download that I am going to be this guy. Because here's the thing. For a long time, I didn't understand. Like, I kept telling my friends what I'm experiencing. Like, I'm giving birth to new realities through my third eye. Or I'm giving birth to light beings through my third eye. But now it's starting to make sense to me. When my guide said, Phil, it's more than that. You are psychokinetic. You are psychokinetic. And you're in the past right now to understand how you became psychokinetic and the training that was involved of flexing and stretching this muscle, which is your pineal gland, which is your crystal technology, which is a super sophisticated device. You had to go back in time to see how it came to be. But the movie's already finished. Like, you're already this psychokinetic guy, right? Just like you might be another psychokinetic or whatever, right? But we all have very unique abilities. And we're here to cultivate the frequency of what that entails. So my message to you today is don't waste time, okay? Meditate. Work with yourself. I really hope that this message strikes inspiration in you. I mean, of all people, on my birthday, I'm like beat up, I feel like my body's falling apart. I was telling my friend I feel like an old man. But you know what? My guide said to me today, Phil, this is the end of a cycle for you, meaning that's why you feel like you're falling apart. Like my neck is stiff. Everything is falling apart, you guys. But we need you to be present with this system reboot. And then they said, Phil, can you taste the reemergence? Can you taste you rising from the ashes like a phoenix again? I'm like, yes. It doesn't feel like it's in the near future, like in the next 2, 3 weeks, but I feel like it's going to happen soon, maybe in 3 months from now. So I can taste it. It's palpable. I can taste that I'm going to be reemerging really soon. That this lava that I was speaking of earlier is going to erupt very soon. So know when to rest, know when to honor your body, learn how to be present with your ascension. Okay, when there's an ebb, there's an ebb. Don't fight it. When there's a flow, ride it. All right, don't fight it, ride it. When there's an ebb, don't fight it. When there's a flow, ride it. And learn how to work with the nuances, with the subtleties. Because what it is that you're getting acquainted, you're getting familiarized with the unseen, with the invisible realms. You are collaborating with the invisible forces of the universe. And you're not always going to be able to compute why this is happening or what's going to happen or what it's going to lead you to. But don't focus on that. As long as you're feeling it, then you're contributing to it. So I hope this helps you guys. This was the origin story. I love you so much. If you haven't subscribed, please do. And I'm really glad I was able to jump on and do a video for you guys. And if you'd like to donate, I really appreciate it. My link is philgoodlife.com/donate. philgoodlife.com/donate. I'll do my best to get back to you personally. I usually send like a very personalized note, but I am in a lot of pain. So know that I appreciate you, and I'll send you love and light either way. Thank you guys so much.